If you're planning a trip to Phuket and want to know which area is right for you, see more of the island, some of the best beaches, and get some recommendations on restaurants, gyms, cafes, and more, this video is for you. I'll be driving around as much of the island as I can, and will give you a brief insight into Patong, Rawai, Kata, Karon, Phuket town, Bangtao, Chalong, Surin, and more. So let's get stuck in, starting in the south of the island in Rawai. This is Nai Han Lake, and this is in Rawai on the south of the island, and it's actually the nicest the beach and the water has been since I've been here. It's the wet season right now. Super popular beach, great to come and watch the sunset. It's only a 5-minute drive outside of Rawai. This is what you get. Is a super nice beach. It is popular. Also up here with the wind turbine, it's a super popular place for people to watch the sunset, and it gets super busy up there. The sunset's over here, so if you're in the Rawai area, this is a big plus. You've also got your Nui beach just on the other side of the wind turbine that you can look down to, and you can go around. It's a lot smaller, but on a calm day the water's super clear and it's good for snorkeling. One of the big appeals of being in Rawai and the Nai Han area is Nai Han Beach. There is also Rawai beachfront, where you have a few restaurants, coffee shops, massage parlours, bars. It's not super popping off or vibrant, but it's a nice little spot to look out at the sea as well. Up in the main part of Nai Han in the Rawai area is where you've got more options for restaurants, cafes, shops, etc. I'm a little bit biased because Rawai is my favourite place to stay in Phuket, especially when I'm working and training. So it might not be for everyone, but it is for me. Anyways, let me just give you 3 or 4 shout outs in the Rawai area that if you're there and if you plan to stay, these are my favourites, so you might like them too. Number 1 is Ali's Barbecue. Great for barbecued food, grilled meats, and if you're trying to get a high protein diet, perfect for that. Good price as well. Second is the Clubhouse, my favourite sports bar in Rawai. It does get very busy when big sporting events are on. They've got so many screens and it's my favourite place to watch the UFC or similar events. Next, you've got Wilson's Cafe. I almost feel bad giving this place a shout out because they're busy already, and the next time I come to Rawai I want to make sure I get a seat, but these guys are banging, the best value in the area and good quality food, super friendly staff as well. Then as you're coming out of Rawai, Cult Fitness, it's a CrossFit gym, but they've got all the equipment. They do open gym as well. Some of the best facilities that I've ever trained in, regardless of Thailand, all around the world. Amazing gym. So I'm just on the outskirts of Rawai now. Rawai is a 2-minute drive down in that direction where you can get to the main strip and you can drive through. Rawai is not super built up, it's kind of built outwards. Lots of small bars, lots of small restaurants, some gyms, but there's not loads of high-rise buildings or hotels, which I think is quite nice, and it separates it from some other parts of the island. It's quieter and there's not as much going on, there's not as many clubs going on, but it's still a really nice part of the island, and for me it's probably my favourite part of the island, particularly if I'm coming to stay longer term. Now if nothing else, let's say you don't really enjoy Rawai and you've just driven down here, one of the most enjoyable things I think to do from Rawai is get on your bike and ride the coastal route all the way out to Patong. It's about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. As you're driving between Rawai and Patong, you will hit a viewpoint, Karon viewpoint, where you look over Kata and Karon, and you get a really nice view over the hills of Phuket as well. Worth a little stop. So this is Karon viewpoint. You can look down and you can see Kata Beach, Karon, and you can see why it's popular. Also, always got a woman up here with these birds, absolutely massive. Not for me, that is not a bit of me, but have a look at this view, incredible. Got Kata Beach just down here, which where we'll be in a minute, and then Karon further on, and then Patong is out of view. This next part is the short drive from Karon viewpoint down into Kata, which is a popular holiday area. But this is Kata and Kata beach area. Lots of restaurants, bars, lots of nightlife, food options, always stuff going on here. Now I'm in Kata. Admittedly, I haven't spent tons of time here, but it's a little bit more of the traditional sense of what you might expect from Phuket. There's a lot more bars, there's a lot of tourism here, there's a lot of hotels. In fact, I've stayed in the Karon area where we will go shortly, and I've visited down in the Kata area before, and I've came down here, but if I was to stay and pick between the two again, I would choose Kata rather than Karon. I think Karon's a little bit quieter and Kata's got a more holiday vibe about it. So this is kind of like intersection that goes down to the beach, which we'll go in a minute. But go down here, you've got like restaurants, bars, and then down here on the left, a little area with a lot of nightlife, Irish bars, sports bars. You've got like quite a bit more going on. If I was to describe it, I'd say it's a bit more of like a built up version of Rawai in a way, and a bit more of a holiday version of Rawai. But here, lots of Western restaurants, loads of nightlife all the way along. These little bars in the middle where you can come get a drink, and then the Irish bars. There's an Irish bar along here. Now we'll head down to Kata Beach, which is a nice little beach, popular with surfers. It's nice to grab a drink, get some food. There's a lot of people down here, a lot of tourists down here all year round, bearing in mind this was filmed in the low season. So this is Kata Beach. You got hotels down on the beachfront. These look really nice actually. I don't know the name of them. And then the beach here. And considering it's low season, not only is it a really, really beautiful day today, but the beach is quite busy actually. It's got quite a lot of people here. Really, really nice day here in Phuket. Kata Beach. Usually the waves are a lot more choppy too, and you'll get a lot more people surfing, especially down that side. And down that side of the beach as well, you'll have the surf schools, you'll have some restaurants and bars that are actually on the beach. And that's the more south side of Kata Beach. And the water down that side of the beach is typically a little bit more rough for surfing, but really nice spot. So this south side of the beach is where people are surfing, and all of the restaurants and bars hug the beach. Down here you get seafood, normal food, Thai food. Definitely a really nice area if you're coming here and want to feel like you're on holiday. A short drive away is Karon. I personally wouldn't stay here if I was a solo traveller or if I was working remotely, and you'll see why in a second. I'll explain, but this is Karon. So this is pretty much Karon. You got some restaurants down here on this road on the right, got some bars and a few more restaurants, but it's just a bit quieter, a little less going on. Quite a few hotels, but yeah, I just think there's a little less going on. It's kind of like this main road with bars and restaurants, and then you hit this roundabout here, and then you've got the beach, which I'll show you in a second. So if I'm at Karon roundabout here with the monument, that's the main road and strip down there. They've got kind of like the one high-rise building here. Apart from that, they don't really have that many like super high hotels, but they have a lot of hotels here, just a little bit lower. And then if you can see right up there in the distance is Big Buddha, and it's actually closed as we speak right now because of a landslide, so they're doing some fixing to it. I don't know when it will be back open, but you can walk up to Big Buddha a couple of different ways. You can either start in Chalong and walk up the main road, or if you were over here, there's a hike that I'd done a couple of years ago that you can start in Karon and then go all the way up. Just take plenty of water and know that either you've got to come back down or you've got to catch a taxi at the top, which is probably going to take you 30 or so minutes to get all the way back round to Karon from Chalong. But that is Big Buddha up there. Here is the beach. This whole area is super popular with Russians, and even when I was staying here a few years ago, I met one American in about 3 days, and everybody else was Russian too. So that's something to note if you're coming here and want to meet some Brits or Americans. It's not as much of a community, but lovely beach. I think Kata is a little bit nicer, but really nice beach again. It goes all the way down to the end and all the way up to this end. It's got to be maybe 3 kilometers in length. Also, every time I've been here, the water tends to be a little bit choppier, which is why it's not my favorite. And yeah, it's the same again. So maybe it's good for surfing or beginner surfing. Yeah, this is Karon Beach, one step before Patong, which is where we'll go to next. When coming out of Karon towards Patong, there is usually a police stop check. They're quite common around Thailand, but particularly in Phuket. The police are almost always parked in this lay-by to the left, and they're pulling in foreigners on scooters if you don't have a helmet on or if you don't have an international driving permit. If you have both of them, you shouldn't get fined, or just avoid the area if you don't want to get pulled over. After Karon, about a 10 to 15 minute ride and you're into Patong, the heart of Phuket, you might say, in terms of the tourists. This is where most people go when they go to Phuket, or when they go to Phuket for the first time. It's not my favourite place in Phuket by any stretch, but if you want some wild nightlife and some chain restaurants, then maybe it's your gaff. Welcome to Patong, the part of Phuket that needs no introduction. It just has that look about it, you know. There is so much going on. I don't hate on Patong totally. Yeah, it's got a bit of a bad rep, but I personally think the beach here is really nice. And if you're gonna get scammed, it's gonna be here. If you're gonna run into trouble, it's probably gonna be here. And if you're gonna have a night that you might not remember, it's also very likely to be here. But on the flip side, it's a beautiful beach. The people on the beach might not always be 10 out of 10, but it's a beautiful beach. Sunsets over here. You've got some amazing restaurants at the end of the beach that look all over here, and they will get to see the sunset as well. Everybody by now has heard about the jet ski scams. You don't need me to tell you this. There's about 100 videos on it, but just be mindful if you are looking to book one, because it's rife. And what I believe happens is they will allow you to go out on the jet ski and then try and claim you damaged it and try and ask you for more. So yeah, Patong is a lot of this really. Although this place here, they do live music that's pretty good actually. Molly's Tavern, Irish bar. But yeah, lots of McDonald's, lots of bars, lots of the things you'd expect. But with that, you've got markets, you've got a lot of fake designer goods if you want to go shopping for that. You've got lots of tour companies, you've got everything that you would possibly want here, and maybe a little bit more. Bangtao Walking Road as well, that comes alive at night. Another thing I find interesting about Patong is when you're down in Rawai or certain other parts of the island, there's very few franchises that you see. However, here you've got McDonald's, the pizza company, Starbucks, Burger King, all within 100 meters of each other. So you've also got a Subway that I've just seen. It's a completely different vibe to the rest of Phuket, 100%. Next stop, around 10 to 15 minutes away from Patong, with a little drive, is Kamala Beach. I personally wouldn't stay here, but it is a beautiful beach, and maybe if you were with a family or just wanted something a little bit out of the way, a little bit quieter, this could be a good option. So this now is Kamala Beach. I'll be honest, I thought I'd been here. I'm not sure I've ever actually been to this beach, but it's quite nice. However, the reason I've never been is because the next beach we go to, Surin Beach, is my favorite probably in the whole of Phuket, but this is actually really nice also. Like a long stretch. It's a lot quieter than other beaches I've seen, although the sand is a little bit rocky. And this is the kind of rockiness that I was talking about. It's not too sandy. That being said, if you want somewhere quieter, a little bit closer to the airport, maybe let's have a little walk along here. Now, in between Kamala Beach and Surin Beach, there's a small beach that is hard to get to. And I'm not going to share the name because it's a bit of a hidden gem in Phuket. But if you want to look for it, it won't be hard to find considering you know whereabouts it is on the island. I've been down to it once before, and the only way you get to it is either you hike round the coast from Surin Beach or you catch a boat round to it. Really, really nice spot, but let's head off to Surin Beach. Now, I might be a little bit biased, but in my opinion, Surin Beach is one of, if not the nicest beach in Phuket. It doesn't really get as much credit as I think it deserves. It's not a quiet or unknown beach by any means. It's quite a busy one and quite a popular one. But I think because it's a little bit further out, it's not too close to Patong. I think for them reasons, it's not quite as spoken about as the others, but it's by no means a secret. I've been down here at like 6:30, 7 a.m. when the sun is just rising. It rises behind the beach rather than in front. It sets out there, but there's not been anyone on here. Crystal clear water, like a pond, no waves, just been amazing. This beach is like, yeah, it's beautiful. So you have some really good options of food and different stands all along the beach as well. The next stop up from Surin is Bangtao. Very, very popular area, very built up, but a lot of traffic. I'm going to put myself out there straight away and say I haven't spent enough time in Bangtao to give an educated opinion on it. I've been there a handful of times and I've only ever passed through. I've never stayed there. But from what I have seen, a lot of traffic, a hell of a lot of building. And to me, when I've been, it just kind of feels a little bit more European than Thai. It feels like it's completely lost its Thai identity. A lot of Phuket feels like that to a degree, but Bangtao just feels a little bit more like that to me, in my opinion. That being said, loads of modern amenities, condos going up everywhere, and wait till you see the beach. The beach is amazing. And this is the Laguna area. Tons of accommodation, all on the water, goes round and round. And this is only like maybe 10% of it. It goes on and on and on. There's hotels, there's long-term accommodation, there's condos, there is everything, villas. Like, it's a really expensive, sought-after place. And this place being built here, it's going to be called Rawai Beach Club. Previously coming to Bangtao, I never really saw the appeal. I now kind of can see why people would want to come here and live up here and why it is so expensive. That being said, the traffic and the vibe, it's a little bit, it feels like I don't know, it doesn't feel very Thai when you're driving around. Maybe because the modern and Western restaurants everywhere. But this beach really is beautiful. 8-kilometer stretch of beach. Gonna try and show you just a little snippet of what I'm talking about, in the sense of it just doesn't really feel like Thailand. It's very strange. Everything is like new. I got Irish pub over here, O'Hara's. Then the design of the buildings, it feels like maybe a Spanish town or something like that. It's all quite modern. It's got a major feel like there's a lot of money in this part of Phuket as well. That money is coming from Russian tourism. There's a couple of small little areas in the north called Mai Khao and Nyang. They're both by the airport. They're both small, quiet, but nice and peaceful, and they're good, in my opinion, for a little pit stop if you wanted to stay a night or two near to the airport when you first arrive or just before you leave. But moving on from that now, we're going to move down to Phuket Old Town. And then Phuket Town, arguably the most underrated place in Phuket, is filled with loads of local Thai restaurants. It's got a very different vibe to the rest of Phuket, completely different vibe. It feels more, I don't even know how to explain it, but small streets, small buildings, lots of restaurants, Sunday night walking market, definitely worth checking out if you get a chance. And loads of cafes, loads of coffee shops. It's a little bit boring for me, or a little bit far from all of the beaches if I was gonna stay here long term. I spent 6 weeks here a couple years ago. But in terms of working, getting set up in cafes, it's nice. And if not, just coming here for a couple of nights if you're passing through Phuket, or maybe just coming here on a Sunday night market for the busy night walking street market, or coming here alternatively just for a couple of days and making a day of it, having lots of good food, walking around, and there's tons of markets that are nearby as well. The final area I'm going to talk about in this video is Chalong. It's in between Phuket Town and Rawai in the south. It's about 20 minutes away from both. Chalong isn't the closest to the beaches, but for me, the main centre around it is the fitness street. I've done a separate video on that, so I'm not going to go into it in too much detail, but effectively it's a 1.5 kilometre stretch of road filled with everything that you can imagine catering for fitness. Gyms, restaurants, cafes, shops, all of that, and it's got a thriving fitness community. So if that's what you're coming to Phuket for, it could be a good hub, and it's also where the big Buddha is. So that's a brief overview of some of the most popular areas to stay in Phuket. Personally for me, working remotely and wanting to train at the same time, Rawai is my favourite, Chalong being a close second. If I was coming to stay on holiday, I'd probably stay in Kata. If I wanted to party and just get a little bit mad, maybe meet some backpackers, Patong's probably the place to go. Bangtao's up and coming, a lot of people like it up there, it's popular. For me, it just doesn't really feel like Phuket or Thailand. Phuket Town is great to check out and amazing for food. Could get a little bit boring if you're staying longer, but overall, everybody's got their different tastes. This is just a little insight into what all of the areas might be like. I've put together a list of my top recommendations with cafes, restaurants, gyms, and anything else I think might be relevant and are my personal favourites from Phuket. If you want that list, then just go onto my Instagram, ping me a message with your email address, and I'll get it sent over to you. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.